Have you ever had one of those days out on snow where it's really icy, you just can't seem to catch an edge, there's patches of blue ice everywhere?
Ice is one of the conditions that skiers dread the most. When your edges barely grip and every turn feels unpredictable, it's easy to tense up and imagine the worst. It's that classic mix of reduced control and the risk of falling on a rock-hard surface that can turn any day on the mountain into pure stress. Now, what if I told you that there's one easy fix that can help any skier handle ice with way more confidence?
Luckily for you, we're not going to give you any more tips about how to ski ice. But instead, we're going to have a look at what's actually going on during an icy day and show you that the solution is not necessarily about more outside ski pressure. Hi, I'm Demelza Clay. I'm an Australian level 4 ski instructor based in BC, Canada. And today we are in beautiful Hintertux on the Glacier. Most people usually feel like there's something wrong with their technique when they're skiing on an icy day. And look, while there's always room to improve, if we took the best skier in the world, they would not be having fun either if they were on the wrong equipment.
I don't think there's one panacea for skiing ice well. I think the obvious piece is being over the outside edge. So like edge angle, the more edge angle you have, the deeper the ski can cut, but the equipment is extremely important. Even like a great carving ski on a beginner works really well. It's a great way to jump up a couple levels. If you're just on a very cheap beginner ski that is rounded edges and beat up, it is hard to advance. We had a lot of races that were basically like skiing on glass, even harder than on a hockey rink even. Pretty wild conditions, and actually for the most part, a lot of us racers like those conditions, but you really have to be dialed in your equipment and your confidence. A 10% difference in confidence level makes a huge difference on being able to grip an ice.
So as Ted said, one of the biggest things that's probably stopping you from having fun on an icy day is your equipment. What we find is that most intermediate skiers or renters don't really feel like their gear is that important. They think what's important is that they get through those initial phases of learning to ski. I actually don't agree with that. While great skiers are able to get by on bad equipment, intermediate skiers aren't able to make those types of adjustments. So it's even more important that they're skiing on good quality equipment. So how do you tell if you've got the right gear for an icy day? Okay, so let's talk about your edges and how stiff the ski is. Now, the reason you want really sharp edges is because the ice is really, really hard, just like an ice block in your freezer. So you need a really sharp edge on that ski so that it can actually dig in and engage with the ice to help your ski turn. So how do you tell if your skis are sharp enough for an icy day? It's actually pretty simple. All you need to do is run your fingernail across, or the back of your fingernail across the edge of the ski at several points from the tip to the tail. And if it's sharp enough, you'll notice that a tiny little sliver of fingernail will come off. So what if your skis are really sharp, but you're still slipping and sliding everywhere? Now's the time to start talking about the design of your ski. So let's think about ice skates. Ice skates have a very skinny edge that's right under the middle of your foot, so it's very easy to engage that edge. As the edge of the blade gets further and further away from the middle of your foot, you have to tip your ankle, your boots over more to get that edge, that sharp knife edge, to dig into the hard surface of the ice. So that's why skinny skis are usually a lot better on an icy day than your big, fat powder skis.
It's impossible to ski ice on 110 underfoot skis. It's just not going to work. Generally, if you're skiing ice, you want to be on a sub 80 underfoot ski. They need to be tuned. The icier it is, the bigger side angle you probably need to. I tune all my skis 3 degrees, so a nice sharp edge is extremely important.
What do you do if you think your equipment is not good enough to ski on an icy day? Well, that depends on if you're renting or if you own your own skis. So for all the renters out there, we're going to go into a rental shop and see if they can help. We've just been chatting with Frank, who's been letting us know what the options are for people who have rental skis that are too blunt and not stiff enough for really icy conditions. So Frank, what would you recommend if I had a client that had this type of ski that wasn't sharp and not stiff enough for the conditions?
Well, those skis are more for the beginners.
Yeah.
I would recommend if they are like advanced skiers, they are more like something like this.
Okay. Yeah. And this one would be better because it's
a better ski.
Yeah.
It's a more stiffer ski and from quality also.
Perfect.
In a higher category.
Yeah.
Yes.
If those skis have gotten blunt, then you'd happily take them back and exchange them for a sharp pair as well.
Yes,
yeah,
of
perfect.
course.
Okay, lots of options. So that sounds great, but what about if you own your own skis? So let me ask you, how many times during the winter do you get your skis tuned? Or are you kind of like a once per winter type of person? So for myself, before I got here at Hintertux, I had my skis fully tuned. And depending on how hard and icy it is out here, I usually maintain my edges every couple of days. And what does maintaining my edges look like? Well, it could be anything from going over the edges with a diamond stone to sharpening them with a file. So to learn more about tuning your own skis, let's talk to someone who knows a thing or two about ski tuning.
What a lot of the general public don't realize is the cause of the problem often, specifically when we're speaking about skiing on a hard surface, is the tuning. It's not the technique. Even the very best coach will have little impact if the cause of your problem is the tuning. So I think that's something and a message I think people would really appreciate to hear, because it gives you a little bit of motivation. You go, oh, great, it might not be me. It might be my tuning. Well, things that increase right away when you have great ski tuning is you trust your equipment far more. And when you trust your equipment more, you can really develop your skills further. And so your confidence goes way up. And if your confidence goes up, your self-esteem goes up. The fun factor goes up. This is the most important thing about skiing. We want to have fun. I mean, I think overall for one's skill development, it's essential. And skiing ice is great when the skis are tuned and it's awesome.
To show how much your equipment really matters, we decided to put these ideas to the test. We'll compare my Carv scores on the same run using two completely different skis, a soft, not so sharp ski and a sharp, stiff ski designed especially for icy conditions. I'll ski them back to back down the same line of the same run at the same time of day, and then we'll break down the data to see just how big the difference really is.
All right, guys, so I've just borrowed a rental ski. It's very soft tip to tail. It's soft torsionally, and the edges are not great. And I'm gonna go for a rip down the iciest run that we have here in Hintertux. I have my Carv on, and we're gonna see what kind of difference we get in my Carv scores. Okay, let's go for a rip. Don't be gentle, it's a rental. Whoa! Okay, whoa, whoa! Whoa, not fun, not fun. It's okay when there's snow on the ground, and then when you hit the ice, it's not fun anymore. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, so I feel this ski like, well, not fun, not fun, not fun, not fun. Whoa. It just vibrates, like literally vibrating. Whew. All right, so that was fairly electrifying, and no surprises there. I could hear my Carv in my pocket giving me some pretty low scores as I skied this really icy run here. But you know, the thing I could feel that was interesting is that as I begun to sort of edge my skis, even just, low edge angles, the ski would really start to sort of vibrate and torsionally twist, and it would start breaking away from underneath me. So not even just because the ski was a bit blunt, perhaps, was the ski breaking away. It was breaking away because the tip and tail were disengaging from the ice and it was throwing me around everywhere. So I feel for all the renters out there that are skiing on equipment that's not properly set up for ice. So, I'm pretty ready to get this ski off now. Now we have the equipment to get the job done. These things are really stiff and they're as sharp as a razor. Let's go ski this pitch. Woo! Okay, a little bit of sliding, but definitely the ski's not shuddering, really little tiny vibrations, nowhere near as much. I mean, all skis sometimes will shudder in the ice, but this one's holding really nicely. Woo! A little bit more fun. Oh, here we go. Woo! Okay, definitely got a high Carv score. I just heard that then. I was feeling a lot more secure. The skis were obviously holding a lot better in the ice because they're sharper, but it's the construction of the ski. It's stiff, tip to tail, torsionally stiff. And on icy conditions, actually even stiff skis will still shudder a little bit. If you watch World Cup races on injected ice, you'll still notice the skis are, if you see it in slow motion, they're vibrating a little bit, but they'll still hold. And this ski down there felt way better. So yeah, this is my choice for today. This is the tool for the job. All right, so the results are in, and I got a 121 on the soft ski and a 133 on the really stiff ski. And so I'm just digging into a few of the metrics here between the two runs. And the ones that are standing out are my turn shape was 69% on the soft ski versus 83% on my stiff ski. My edging smoothness was 65% versus 80%. My early edging was 50% versus 62%, and then my edge angle was 36% on the soft ski versus 45%. So in summary, equipment definitely matters, especially on an icy day, for you to get great Carv scores and have a really fun time. Okay, so that's it, folks. I hope I've helped you understand today the importance of quality equipment and a nice sharp tune. And whilst technique is really important, and we always encourage you to improve your turns, if you don't have good, sharp skis that are stiff enough for an icy day, you're never gonna have as much fun and progress as fast. If you have any questions about your equipment, leave them in the comments below. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you out on the slopes.